Porn isn't just pixels on a screen. It's not just a guilty habit or a private indulgence. It's a cultural epidemic wrapped in silence. A slow, invisible corrosion of desire, identity, and masculinity. And the most dangerous part? Most don't even realize it's happening. When a boy stumbles across porn, it often feels like a secret initiation into manhood. Nobody talks to him about intimacy, about emotional vulnerability, about the psychology of real sex. So porn fills the gap. It teaches him, wrongly, that sex is about domination, performance, and endless novelty. It programs his expectations before he even understands what he's looking for. He doesn't learn to love. He learns to consume. Every dopamine spike from porn rewires the brain's reward system. It's not just about arousal anymore. It's about escape. Stress? Porn. Boredom? Porn. Loneliness? Porn. Over time, it stops being a choice. It becomes a reflex. The brain gets trained to crave the hit, not the connection. The moment, not the meaning. And what's worse, real life can't compete. No actual human being can replicate what porn artificially amplifies. The bodies, the scenarios, the instant gratification. So when young men enter real relationships, they feel bored. Disappointed. Even repulsed by the rawness and slowness of real intimacy. Sex with a partner becomes performance anxiety, not passion. Touch becomes pressure. Vulnerability becomes a threat. Porn also feeds the illusion of control. You're always in charge. You pick the scene. You skip what you don't like. You fast forward to the climax. But life doesn't work like that. Love doesn't. And when these men face real intimacy, with all its unpredictability and emotional nuance, they shut down. They don't know how to sit in discomfort, how to wait, how to open up. They've been conditioned to expect women to act like actresses, always available, always enthusiastic, never asking for anything real in return. And let's talk about masculinity. Porn doesn't just distort sex. It distorts what it means to be a man. Strength gets reduced to aggression. Passion becomes punishment. Emotional depth gets erased altogether. The man in most porn isn't making love, he's conquering. Dominating. Using. And young men absorb this, subconsciously. They start to believe that their worth is tied to their performance. That their value is based on how much they take, not how deeply they connect. That's how porn creates shame. Not just moral shame, but existential shame. A deep sense that you're failing at something you were never properly taught. You're chasing a high that leaves you emptier each time. You're hiding from real connection while pretending you're indulging in it. You begin to feel hollow, apathetic, numb. And the spiral begins. Erectile dysfunction in young men has exploded in the last decade. Not from physical issues, but psychological ones. The term porn-induced erectile dysfunction didn't even exist 30 years ago. Now, it's everywhere. Young men can't get aroused by real women anymore. Only by exaggerated, algorithm-fed illusions. It's not their bodies that are broken. It's their expectations. And then there's the deeper cost. Time. Energy. Drive. Porn doesn't just rob you of connection, it robs you of ambition. You sit in front of a screen instead of facing your life. Your goals. Your discomfort. That one quick session turns into hours lost, motivation drained, self-respect chipped away. You walk away feeling weaker. Not just physically, but mentally. Spiritually. Over time, it kills the part of you that hungers for something real. Something earned. Something sacred. The truth is, many young men today are growing up in a digital wasteland of false intimacy. They've never touched love without a screen mediating it. They've never looked into someone's eyes and felt the raw, shaking vulnerability of real connection. Porn has sold them a shortcut to a destination they're no longer even sure they believe in. And that's the real tragedy. Porn doesn't just ruin men by addicting them to sex. It ruins them by numbing them to life, to intimacy, to women, to themselves. But there's another path. One that isn't about shame, but about awareness. One where you stop letting the algorithm dictate your desire. One where you take back control from the screen and learn to sit with your discomfort instead of escaping it. One where you rebuild your relationship with yourself, piece by piece, without relying on fantasy to carry the weight of your loneliness. This isn't about purity. It's about power. Not the power to dominate, but the power to feel again. To want again. To love again, for real this time.